Anne Enderley, the first character to appear and therefore the likely protagonist of our story, woke up with that same 0 to 60 cold sweat that the alarm clock always induced in her. The Starweb higher-ups seemed to be of the opinion that in order for an alarm clock to be effective, it must also be alarming. For the next 7 seconds, Anne was an unthinking, desperate creature, scrabbling for the off switch on her bedside table. It was only once she'd managed to silence the machine mid-that her face became something human at last. In the blessed silence of her tiny quarters, Anne's heartbeat slowed down, and her eyes focused on the ceiling above her. Ah, the room was still bathed in the pink light coming in through the window. She didn't need to look behind her to know what was outside. "Still in the cloud, then," she said, rubbing her face with both hands. Sighing, she sat up in bed and got on with the necessary business of starting the day. Dear reader, if you have made it past the dreaded start the story by having the character wake up trope, I applaud you for your hearty spirit. I am here to assure you that we will at least be skipping the even more distasteful describe the character by having them look into a mirror trope. I do have standards. Anne, who was about 5'2", with choppy chin-length auburn hair, thin lips, and a retroussé nose, had no mirror in her quarters to tell her these things. Phew, that was close. Anne, dressed in her regulation blue jumpsuit, eventually left her quarters in search of the support commissary. She was, after all, only tangentially connected with Starweb, and wouldn't be eating with the crew. She and her brother actually worked for Starshine, subcontractors who had won the cleaning contract for the starship Casablanca. "Morning," Yolanda Stone yawned, coming out of her own quarters and joining Anne in her quest for breakfast. "Is it?" came the voice of Thierry Renard, coming up behind them. "I'm pretty sure it's 4 a.m. Anne quirked a smile at no one in particular. "I'm pretty sure morning is a relative concept in space." "I'm pretty sure your face is a relative concept in space." "That's fair." More and more of the support staff joined their party. By the time they turned the last corner and pushed through the doors of the commissary, they were a good 15 strong. There were more than 15 people on the support staff, dear reader. Who do you suppose prepared the food the janitors would be eating? While Starshine represented a fair portion of the subcontractors aboard, it takes more to keep a starship running smoothly than squeegees and vacuums. Advantage Catering was staffing the kitchens. Mountain Spring Laundry Service was taking care of something very obvious that I shouldn't need to spell out. And maintenance fell under the purview of right-way maintenance and repair. All told, the support staff numbered somewhere around 40 people. I say around 40, but the exact number was 41. More on that later. Because I'm sure you're riveted. Anne, having procured for herself a tray of comestibles, continued to pull the story through the narrative wasteland that was her morning routine, locating her brother sitting at a table to one side of the room and bending her steps thither. "Hey, Rand," she greeted him as she sat herself down across from him. "Morning," he said, not looking up from the small device he was fiddling with. "How's Milo today?" she asked, unwrapping her breakfast sandwich. "Healthy appetite," said Rand, tapping a final button and receiving a satisfying musical trill in response. He smiled. "There, that should keep him going till playtime." He tucked the little plastic device into the inner pocket of his jumpsuit before picking up his spoon and starting on his oatmeal. "Still in the cloud," Anne said, around the reconstructed egg. Still in the cloud, Anne said, around the reconstituted egg matter, canned ham and English muffin in her mouth. "I thought we'd get out on the hull today, but I guess not." "Captain says we should be out of it by 9 bells. It's still a guess, though, what with the sensors working at quarter capacity." Anne shrugged and swallowed her dang food. "Has Brackenreed posted the list yet?" "Not yet, but I'm guessing we're on vacuuming again, seeing as we didn't finish D-Deck yesterday." And with that ominous statement, we will sweep ourselves up and away from this scene of siblings breaking fast over talk of the workday to come, and we will watch from a more elevated station as the parties concerned do indeed get the assignment of vacuuming the rest of D-deck, as well as all of C-deck and a goodly portion of B-deck before the fateful moment when the ship finally pushed through the far side of the dust cloud, and all Starshine employees were called away from their posts to report to the disembarkation hold. How's that for a run-on sentence? It got me over 8 hundo, so high fives all round.